Welcome back, moms. On one side of me, I've got Matty Teddy, he's practicing his cat-cow. And on the other side, I have a lot of props. I'm going to ask that you maybe get creative around your house to find things that look similar to what I have. So I have 2 yoga bolsters. If you have yoga bolsters, great, you can grab those. If not, this could be pillows, it could be maybe cushions from your furniture, couches, or your bed, or what have you. Maybe some more blankets, because I also have 1 blanket here. And then I have that yoga block, the brick that we used in the last session, and also a yoga strap. Now I guarantee there's something around your house you could use if you don't have a yoga strap. It could be a tie, a scarf. I've heard of people using dog leashes. So I'm sure you can find something, and you can hit pause, come back, gather all your things, and come back. Okay? So this session is about diastasis recti, or the DR, which is a lot easier to say for me. Now the stomach muscles here, normally they're kind of knitted together, and then through pregnancy or even anybody who gains weight really quickly, those stomach muscles, right, they have to come apart to allow for that growing belly. After you have baby, ideally we want those stomach muscles to knit nicely back together. It doesn't always happen though, and it may take some time. So this practice is going to be gently stretching that area carefully. We're going to be using the bolster so we can do it carefully. And we might do a preliminary check for a DR. By no means am I a healthcare practitioner. Really encourage you to book an appointment with a pelvic floor physiotherapist. So before we come down, remind you coming down safely, coming up and down safely. So rolling onto one side and then onto the back. We'll be in hook line position, knees bent, feet on the mat. I'm going to call these the hip lights. So those bony protuberances here, imagine like headlights on your car, we're going to call them our hip lights. So actually feeling like you're engaging the muscles that would draw those hip lights together. They're not going to draw together, but feeling like they're drawing together. Using those peace fingers of one hand, they're going to go just above your belly button. Okay, and then lift the head and shoulders up. And you can take a break here as I'm talking if you need to. What we're looking for, yes, maybe a feeling of separation of the muscles there, how far apart that is, and also how deep, so width and depth. If there's a lot of downward pressure while you're doing this, stop and then book yourself a pelvic floor physiotherapist. Don't do this, okay? Also, what we're looking for is there like a looking of doming on the belly here, okay? And then bring the head and shoulders back down, relax. We're going to do that again. We're going to check below the belly button. So catch your breath, okay? Get those peace fingers again. This time it's below the belly button. If it's okay for you, lifting the head and shoulders up and feeling around. Width, depth, maybe not. Maybe you don't feel anything. Again, if there's downward pressure, come out of this. And then we'll let that go. That's a really rudimentary checking. Make sure that you book an appointment. If you feel like, oh, there is a lot of separation there, or I can really get my fingers down, book with a pelvic floor physiotherapist. They're highly trained and they can help you with that. All right. Let's take the arms and the legs up and do some wrist and ankle rotations. Sometimes the simplest thing feels the best, am I right? And changing the direction of those circles. If you are diagnosed with DR, do not panic. Lots of ways they can help you. Good, we'll bring the hands and the feet back down. Take those hands behind your head, interlacing your fingers behind your head. This is going to look like a crunch, but it is not, okay? Let your stomach muscles be lax here. You're going to lift your head up off the mat. Head is really, really heavy. Your hands can support the weight there. What we're looking for is a nice neck stretch. Okay? Now you have permission to leave poses out of the practice or come out at any time if it doesn't feel good today. Anytime, right? Good. And then release the head back down. You can bring the arms back down. Some pelvic tilt. So on an exhale, put the small of your back, push it into your mat. Inhale, exaggerate that curve of the low back, so pushing kind of the belly away. Rocking back and forth over the pelvis. Exhale, bringing it down. Inhale, moving it away. If the breathing goes the other way for you, don't worry, it'll still work. The pelvic tilts will still work. Don't stress out. You don't need any more stress. And next time you exhale, hug your right knee in towards the chest and then let that low back relax into its natural shape. We're in half wind reliever. The hands can go behind your thigh or the front of your knee. The left leg, you can keep it bent with that foot on the mat as we started, or if you want to extend it down the mat, you can. Notice what that does in your low back. How does that feel? Inhale, right knee goes away a little bit. Exhale, squeeze it in. If the left leg is extended, it's long and strong. So that means an active leg, pulling those toes up to point towards your ceiling. Next exhale, really squeeze all that air out. And then release your right leg. Give them a shake or a bounce between sides if you like. Maybe you feel like you just need to be still for a moment. You can, when you're ready, hugging the left knee in, finding that grip that works for you, deciding what you want to do with your right leg. I know I'm a little bit blocked from the props here, but not much to see. But you can keep that right knee bent. Once you get there, inhale, left knee goes away just a little bit. Exhale, squeeze it in. Linking breath and movement. And that DR, this is why I'm encouraging you to come up and down really carefully and mindfully so you're not overstretching those muscles again in the stomach. We want them to come back together. Heel. Good. Next exhale, really squeeze it in. Haul the air out. Let's bring that right knee back up for happy bound angle. So the feet are going to stay lifted, or the legs are staying lifted. Maybe the inside edge of your feet can touch. Taking your hands perhaps to your shins or your ankles. You might even use your knees to gently push those knees out a little bit more. Use your elbows to push your knees out a little bit more. I'm not sure if that's how I said it the first time. Good, happy bound angle. Good, releasing the feet. We do need our straps. So I have to go over there to get it, so I'm going to do it wisely. I'm going to roll over to one side, push my way up, and grab that strap, and then return back down carefully, okay? Hamstring stretch. Whatever leg you'd like to start with, okay? Because we'll just do one side and then the other. Then float that foot up, catch a hold of your foot with your strap, whatever you're using for your strap, and maybe evening out the sides of the straps. If your strap is long enough, so you can slide your hands down, bring the backs of your arms to rest on your mat. Fight for straight with this top leg. That might mean you have to take it a little bit away from the face, a little bit more than you would like. And the other leg, of course, again, your choice. You can keep it bent or stretch it out. Notice how that changes. Maybe you'd like to try both positions and then decide. Good. Hamstring, the back of the thighs here. Ideally, you want to kind of feel it in the middle of that muscle. If you're feeling it more up by your cheek, it's a little too much. You may back off that stretch, okay? And neutral position here. Check if your foot is kind of rolling in or out, or your leg is turned. Neutral. 2 more breaths. Soften this knee so you can slide your second foot in and release that first one. All the same rules as the first side. Does it feel different on this side for you? Maybe, maybe not. If there's a lot of sensation there, you send in your breath to that area. If you've been sitting and holding your baby a lot, that's fantastic. Hold your baby as much as you can. But if you're sitting on those hamstrings, they maybe need a little bit of love here. They weren't built to be load-bearing tissues, but we spend, and not just new moms spend a lot of time sitting on them, right? Good. Soften that leg so you can take your strap off, put it beside you, somewhere. I think we're even done with that for today. You can give the legs a little bit of shake or bounce between sides. Nice. And then we'll bring those feet back up. And in fact, turn them up to face your ceiling for happy babies. Imagine your feet are dancing on the ceiling. Legs are quite wide. They're in a straddle position. You can take your hands behind your thighs or the outsides of your feet, whatever is available to you, and pull those knees down towards your armpit. Maybe you like to rock side to side or kick up a leg, the other leg, play with your toes, whatever. You have happy babies. What do they do? Babies that play with their toes, roll around, exploring. Many yoga poses are named after things that people do. Child's pose, happy baby, and then of course animals too. How they just naturally know how to move and stretch and feel good. Good. Release the feet down. Let those knees fall out to the sides for bound angle. Good. Arms can rest beside you, maybe hands on your belly if your hands are free. Maybe remembering a couple of these. You can do these things while you're with your baby. Get down on the floor. Usually to do this position with your legs, holding baby on your chest, or they're playing around you. So layering your life. And then if you're familiar with yin yoga, this might be a position that we'd hope for up to 5 minutes. So maybe a yin practice would be good for you. If you're going to lay on the floor for 5 minutes like this, you can. We'll draw those legs back in together. Even use your knees or your hands if you need to. I'm going to roll over to one side and then set up with those props. So rolling over to one side and sitting up. This is a bolstered knee down twist. Okay. I need lots of height for my legs on this one. So I have a little bit of a flatter bolster up at the top. And that's going to support my spine. I'm going to be laying back down on that. And then let's put this to the side, the right side. That's what side I'm on. I'm going to place my bolster to the right of my leg. And I know, as I said, I need a little bit more height. So I also have a folded blanket on top of that. Okay. And maybe you need to hit pause, go grab some more props. That's okay. That's the beauty of this on-demand course. Okay, I'm going to lay my spine down on that bolster. Comfortable there. My right leg is up beside my props. Make sure you come down wiser than I just did, okay, ladies? And then bend up that left knee. I'm going to drop that left knee over towards my right onto my propping. And yeah, you probably have to adjust so you can hit it just right. And the torso, the upper half, is trying to stay a little more neutral. So my chest, as best as I can, is facing the ceiling. Arms are resting out beside. Don't be shy to use more or less height. You look different than mine. Do whatever you need to do to support this knee down twist. A gentle stretch, gazing up to the ceiling, maybe you're closing your eyes. I think we'll be here for a little bit of a longer hold. This feels kind of like a restorative pose, which we would hold a little longer. Enjoy the benefits and the relaxation of this. Maybe about a minute. we'll stretch that left leg back out in between sides, maybe a little bit of rebound. So keep the leg stretched out. Let that settle into your body on the one side before we switch to the other side. This is a great restorative pose in itself, right? Where that upper body is bolstered and the legs are long. If you enjoy this little rebound, maybe you do this after the session, all right? Carefully, I'm going to roll over to one side, push my way up, simply so I can move my props to the other side. We're going to do that bolstered knee down twist on the second side. And know that you may have to do something a little bit different on the second side, more or less height there. Okay, back, left leg is staying alongside there, bend up that right knee, and then catch that inside of that right knee over on my props. Again, about a minute here. Good, and coming back up, stretch out those legs. Take a second here, longer than a second. Some of you may want to stay quite a lot longer. It does feel so good. Simple, easy. So the good news is we get to keep this top part. Doesn't matter for you, but I'm going to get my stuff out of the way just so I don't have a yard sale going on here in front of you. Stay where you are. These are bolstered floor angels. The arms are starting out right up from my shoulders. Thumbs trying to stay in contact with the floor. We're going to move them in a moment. Well, it's just that the chest adjusts to this stress or the stretch first. Opening up the chest, shoulders. As I mentioned in the last session, that is an area for new moms, quite shortened and tightened in those muscles. All right, as best as you can. You're going to start to slide the hands up towards your head, trying to keep the thumbs in contact with the floor. As they start to lift, that's as far as you're going to go, and you're going to come back. Okay, you keep going back and forth through that. Once the thumbs lift, okay, that's where you're going to stop. And maybe after a bit, you can get a little further up. Okay, you keep doing that kind of motion. I don't have far to go. Maybe you don't either. Maybe you have nowhere to go. Maybe you want to stay here and hold this stretch. That's okay. Thinking floor angels. The other thing, as you keep moving those arms, notice if your ribs are lifting. Here's the reason we do have this bolstered, so our ribs can stay down and not overarch. Keep moving. I just want to show what that might look like if we didn't have that bolster underneath the back. So as I was doing this, I might get that really high arch in the low back. The ribs are lifting. It's not about my arms anymore. We want to keep this calm down also because we're trying to take the pressure off those abdominal muscles for that DR. Possibly you want to keep that bolstered together, okay? Keep going. If you like to move with the breath, you might inhale as those arms are going up. Exhale as they're sliding back down.
Good, next time those arms are out from the shoulders again, let's pause there. We're going to need that brick. We're going to bring that brick into the practice to get it safely. Of course, I'm going to roll over to one side, push my way up, push that brick, side and then back, okay? These are log pullovers. So imagine you're got a big old log here, but we're using our yoga brick. Okay, you can extend your legs. That brick, slightly holding it between your hands. You don't need a lot of pressure there. It's not too heavy. It's not really like a log. And then we're going to take that brick overhead. You can inhale as the brick, your log goes overhead. Exhale as it returns back over the chest. Again, check in for the ribs. If they begin to flare, that's your end range of motion, or try to keep it locked down if you want to get a little bit more. And maybe after a few passes here, the shoulders and the chest open up and you might get a little further. So for me, I'm going to slow that movement down so I can feel the point where the ribs begin to lift. If I'm going too quickly, maybe I'm not really paying attention there. There's lots of gym exercises that do these pullovers, so you're getting a nice movement for the shoulders as well. How's your arms? Are they getting tired? Your arms might already be tired from holding baby. Next time, that brick is over the chest. Let's put that off the side. I think we can go right into our next one, keeping the propping, the bolstering there. This is a propped banana asana. You can take both your legs over towards the right side of your mat. So just the lower half here is doing a banana shape or like a C shape. And you can take your arms overhead if that's comfortable for you, maybe holding the elbows, or arms can rest out beside you. The restorative yoga, if you're not familiar, uses these props, these bolsters and things like that, lots of propping. So if these have felt like restorative shape for you, like you almost feel like you could have a nap there, do that in your own time. Maybe that would be a great place. You're getting a nice benefit, a gentle stretch of the body, and I know you need maybe a little bit more rest than you're getting. Good, bring those legs back to center. We'll pause between sides for a second. And then when you're ready, bring your legs over to the left side as best as you can. I've got the fireplace in my way. If you had your arms overhead, maybe you're holding on to wrists or forearms, I'm just going to ask that you switch that cross so the other arm's on top. And make like a banana. And we'll bring those legs back to center. The arms are overhead, bring them back down. Pausing here. Good, and then rolling over. Let's bend at the knees first. Roll over to your right side. Our next one is a windmill stretch, but we need to get the bolster out of the way. Now finally you can get that out of your way. Off to the side. Laying on your right side and cradle your head in your arm. On the right side, the right leg is staying extended. Your left leg, though, you can bend that and bring that knee slightly forward. So this is going to be above the top arm, okay? Palm facing up towards the ceiling. It starts about out from your shoulder, and then bringing it around or over the head, and then back. Does not need to stay in contact with the floor. Mine is way up in space. And I can hear some clunking going on in my shoulder. It doesn't hurt, so that's okay. Did. Maybe you want to leave this one out and just lay on your side. Hang out there while the rest of us do this, and you can take a little rest. Maybe one more of those passes, and then we're going to go over onto the other side. Now, whatever you'd like to do, you know what we're doing. If you want to roll over so you can't see me, you can do that. I'm going to swing around the other way. If you're doing a big movement, make sure you're coming up safely. Good. Again, cradling your head, your arm, bottom leg stays straight, top one comes out. Take that arm back, palm facing up towards the ceiling, and windmill around. If you like, and you can, the baby doesn't need your attention, you can close your eyes on a lot of these movements. You can see better when you close your eyes. What am I feeling? Where do I feel it? A couple more on this side. Perfect. And we're going to come up to our seat. So from your side, carefully pushing your way up. Cross-legged position, one leg slightly in front of the other, whatever you need to do. We're going to do our 360 breath, maybe checking in with baby if they need a little attention. Babies love nothing more than your face. I mean, that's their favorite things. And they can see your face, they love it so much. As your baby's growing and your family's growing and you're going to the playground, I want to encourage you to just a little bit of time for yourself. So you're at the playground, your kids don't need your attention. Can you hang from something and work on your upper body strength? And get creative, a little bit of workout at the playground, at the park. I remember when my kids are little, the wood that goes around the sound box that holds it all in. I used to challenge my balance and try to walk along that just like the kids do. So you can get a nice little workout for yourself at the park. Okay. Our 360 breath, if your hands are free, you can bring your hands to your ribs. If only one hand is free and you're holding your baby, that will work too. Or no hands if you're really comfortable with this. I'm going to close my eyes here. So we're imagining, again, our torso is like a can. And inhale into those hands. Feel your can expand. Exhale, feel your can collapse back in. And also picturing that top and the bottom of your can, the diaphragm, the pelvic floor. Keep going. So the hands are helpful because maybe I feel like I might, oh yeah, I think, yeah, I'm breathing like that. And then you put your hands on, you realize your ribs aren't really moving all that much. So with the hands there, oh, okay, I can push into my ribs. And then I can feel them collapse back together. Good job, moms. Last one here. Finishing with the exhale, really squeeze out a lot of air out, squeeze your can together. And bring the hands back down. I'm going to ask that you switch the cross of your legs. We're going to do a seated cat-cow. Hands can rest on your legs. Maybe even feel like you want to hold onto your knees. Exhale, belly button comes towards the spine. You're rounding up through the back. Inhale, chest and gaze come forward and through. Exhale back into what would be like our cat shape. Inhale, coming forward into what would be our cow. Good, if you want to close your eyes, and that's okay with baby, you can. Moving the spine and opening the chest. It's so good. It's such a great movement for our spine. Finishing with the chest coming forward. Good, and then relax back to neutral position. Bound ankles. We're going to bring your feet to the mat. The knees bent. Let them fall out to the sides, and the bottom of your feet can come to touch. Feel free to let your feet just be
where they landed, okay? I know somebody might, oh, I want more. You can bring your heels closer towards your groin. But we might say that this is what your hips are ready for. This is where they came to, so you can be here. You can stay up nice and tall. Maybe you like to grab for those toes and lean forward slightly, find a little more sensation. So once you're ready to be leaving the house and for appointments, that's a good time when you need to book that physiotherapist, pelvic floor physiotherapist appointment. You don't need a lot of stress. Your baby's new, oh my gosh, I need to go see this. Wait till you feel comfortable going out of the house a little bit. They know you're new moms, so they can bring your baby with you. Just a good idea to get things checked out. If you have any concerns, they can address that for you. Good, come on up, draw the knees together, square pose. So I'm going to bring my left leg underneath and then stack my right one on top. There's going to be some options here. If this is an okay shape for you, you're looking down at your shins, my right shin's on top of my left. I'm going to keep my right foot flexed to protect that ankle. Other option, if this is not available to you, you're really not that comfortable, bring my brick carefully into the practice and put my brick out in front of my left leg and maybe place my right leg on top of that instead, okay? Same thing with our bound angle. You might find this is enough sensation hanging out here nice and tall, sitting up tall, or maybe you'd like to lean forward slightly, bring your hands to the mat to support your weight, or that might be a place where you'd like to use your brick, maybe supporting with your hands there. You feeling that in the outer hips? Yeah. If it feels good somewhere else, that's okay too. That's where your body needs the stretch. Good job, moms. And then we'll walk it back up. Carefully, maybe even use your hands to do so, but stretch out those legs, give them a little shake or bounce between sides, and we'll go right over onto that other side to do that. So I'm going to bring my right one underneath this time, I do believe. Left one on top. If this is a shape that's available to you, look down there, shins are stacked, top foot is flexed, or bringing that brick, and maybe one side you need a little something different than the other side, and that's okay. Same options, you can stay up nice and tall, or maybe come forward. If you're using that brick, don't be afraid to play with the heights. It has different heights for a reason, okay? And this is also a pose from the yin world that we use in the yin world too, yin yoga. So maybe you're hanging out with your baby, you want to sit here for quite a while, maybe not quite a while, 3 minutes, 5 minutes. Get down on the floor, baby wants your attention, but you can be doing something for yourself too. Good, last breath here. And then we'll come back up, stretch up those legs any way necessary. Again, we'll shake up. We're going to bring in one more breathing practice today, alternate nostril breath. So do find a comfortable position to be sitting in here. Important that we sit up nice and tall so the energy of the prana can move and the breath can move. Alternate nostril, we're going to use that right hand. The easiest way I like is to make that hang loose sign. So I bring the middle fingers in towards the palm, my pinky and my thumb are out, and then place that in front of your face. I'm going to be holding this arm here for some time, so it's often nice. Maybe if you want to use your left hand to support your arm there, you can. We'll take a few breaths in and out through the nostrils without pinching anything just yet. If you want to close your eyes, you can. Good. With the pinky, we're going to block that left nostril. Inhale through your right nostril. Block the right, open the left, exhale. Inhale left, block the left, open the right, exhale. Inhale right, closing, open left, exhale. Inhale left. You get the idea. So there's like a little horseshoe pattern going on here. I'm going to stop calling it because we all breathe at our own rate. If this creates anxiety or you feel breath hungry, let it go. Go back to a few rounds of your normal breathing. Maybe come back and try again. this balances both sides of the brain. It can be energizing. Does that sound like a good idea for new moms? And maybe even clearing out the sinuses a bit. Throughout the day, there's about a 90-minute cycle with changes that we are either right nostril, dominant, breathing out through one side, and then it changes to the other side. So this can help balance that out. Next time you exhale out the right nostril, that will end the cycle. You can bring hands to the lap. And breathing normally in and out through your nostrils. And if all you did was breath practice, you would be doing yoga. Pranayama is one of the 8 limbs. But if you close your eyes, maybe we'll tuck the chin towards the heart and then gently flutter them open, gradually adjusting to the light again. And then we'll come to tabletop position, just like Medi Teddy over here for our tabletop cat-cow. Remember protecting the knees if you need to, and thinking about your wrists also. Those knees are underneath your hips, so have a little look there. Shoulders over elbows, over wrists, or something similar to that. Okay, inhale, start to tip the tailbone up towards the ceiling, and that curve in the low back. Movement continues on through the spine. Last, lift your head to the ceiling, lift your chin. Exhale, begin to tuck your tail between the legs, round it up into that cat shape, push your floor away, tuck the chin towards the heart. At your pace, inhale into your cow, and that movement begins at the base of your spine. Last thing to move is your head. And exhale into cat. And take your time. Maybe you like to close your eyes and feel this movement. Good job, moms. And maybe checking in with baby. Tabletop position is a great place. Again, maybe giving them kisses or blowing raspberries. And then finishing off in cat. So your last cat. Relax in the back, neutral position. You're going to step your left foot up into half kneeling. So not that kneeling lunge position just yet. Just bring that left foot up and then come all the way up. All right, this is a hip flexor engagement exercise, the right one. Putting your focus into that right hip flexor. You're going to squeeze your seat and tuck your pelvis under. And maybe you feel this right hip flexor start to work. And then relax your seat and untuck there. And you can keep going at your own pace. So squeezing your seat, tucking the pelvis under. Do I feel something? Even if you don't feel it, doesn't mean it's not working. Or maybe, again, we've lost that mind-body connection. And there's some work to be done here. Good. Nice. I naturally just exhale with the exertion, with that work. Inhale as I relax and release. 2 more here. Good job, moms. Relax that. And then we will go into our kneeling lunge. So that left foot, take it towards the top of your mat. There's some options here. Hands onto your mat, or maybe you'd like to use your brick. If you like a little bit more, you can bring your hands up to your thigh, especially if you feel like you're balanced here. If you need the hands down for your balance, don't worry about bringing them up. You're still getting this nice stretch, the inner thigh, that back hip flexor. Once more, bricks might be our best friends. Our props are our friends here. And it has different heights. You can play with that. If you can't get to earth, you bring earth to you. Maybe 2 more breaths here. Good. Carefully switching to the other side. First was that hip flexor movement. So I'm going to step my right foot up, half kneeling. Squeeze the seat, tuck the pelvis under. Feels like more or less work on this side, I wonder. Maybe, maybe not. Good. And I hope you're doing these practices, even if it's only part of the practice, more than once. Okay, it's like, oh, there's just a couple things there I really liked, and that's how much time I have. Perfect. You don't have to do the whole practice every time. Or doing what works for you with your baby. Good. And don't be afraid to ask for help too. If you just need a little bit of childcare just for some time for yourself, people want to help. They offer, I'll help. You need to give them really something specific to do. If it's to watch your baby so you can have a practice, if it's to fold some laundry so you can have some practice, they'd be happy to help you. Good. And then into our lunge. Let's take that right foot out. And then you're deciding hands down or up, propping. How's that back knee? Maybe it needs a little bit of padding back there. You can roll up the side of your mat. Well done, moms. One more breath here. All right, send that right knee back. You're gonna either do frog pose or tadpole. From tabletop, take your knees quite wide, so outside the torso area, okay? Frog pose, it looks like this. I turn out my feet, so the inside edge of my feet is coming to the mat. This may not be available or super comfortable for a lot of you, so I'm going to give you tadpole. But if you are doing frog, you might like to go sideways on your mat. A lot of people will, so that they have the mat underneath the inside edge of their feet, so a little bit more comfortable. And then maybe you want to come to elbows or push the seat back a little bit. Find your edge. Be careful. If this is not the shape for you, tadpole, keep your knees where they are, but turn your feet in so your big toes are touching and push the seat back towards the heel. It looks just like extended child's pose because that's what it is, okay? So either frog or tadpole. You decide what's right for your body today. And frog can be quite an intense inner thigh growing stretch for a lot of us, not for everyone necessarily. I have another inner thigh stretch, but I think it might be nice to give you a break between sides. So we're going to take a break on the belly if that's okay for you. Carefully bringing, I'm going to come up to my hands, so I'm going to bring my knees underneath and then stretch out. And this will also put us in a good position for the next one. Crocodile, you can stack your hands and rest your forehead there if it's more comfortable to have your gaze turned one way. You can bring your arms alongside the body. Okay, so a prone inner thigh stretch. Let's bring the left knee up alongside the body. There's a 90-degree bend in that left knee, and my gaze is going to go in the same direction. So maybe I'm going to make a pillow with my hands and gaze that way. If it's okay for you, want a little bit more, you could stretch that left leg out straight. So you decide which version you want to do there. Maybe we'll be here for a little longer. Feels pretty good to be here, I know. And we'll bring that left leg back underneath. When you're ready for the second side, drawing that right leg up, keeping the knee bent or extending, but do gaze towards that side as well. slide that leg back underneath. I'm gonna roll onto the back, but we will need your brick. And maybe even a bolster. I'm gonna push comfortably and let you choose between one or the other. We're gonna do a supported restorative bridge pose. So you might like to try one and then the other and decide which one's best for you, which one you like better today. Either way, we're going to start the same. So those are close enough by, I can get to them. Please come down carefully. Knees bent, feet on the mat. Push your feet into the mat so you lift your seat up and then place whatever prop you're going to use, and maybe you'll try one, then the other, underneath the sacrum. I'm going to here at my lowest height. Okay, this is going to allow those hip flexors to really just relax and lengthen. So you use that brick, or maybe you like to try the bolster, and then decide which one would be better for you, or your pillow, or whatever you're using, right? Maybe one feels too hard or one feels too high. You like Goldilocks, find the right one for you. We'll be here maybe for about a minute. And you push your feet again, so you can lift your seat up and slide your prop off. It is time for relaxation. So if you're comfortable when you're ready just to stretch out. If you want to bring baby into the equation, I might bring Betty Teddy onto my chest here for the end. What's comfortable for your legs, what's comfortable for your arms. Find length in the back of your neck, tucking the chin towards the heart, so about 2 minutes. If you'd like to stay in relaxation a while longer, and that's available to you, you stay right where you are. Or for those that have to get moving, you start by wiggling your fingers and wiggling your toes. Turn those into the next regular movements, moving through the wrists and the ankles. Going both directions with those circles. And maybe gently rock your head side to side. Good. And I'm putting my baby off to the side so I can roll over onto my right side. Pausing here. And we're coming up wisely and pushing your way up to your seat. Okay. That concludes our second session. I hope you're feeling good. You found a little few things that maybe you can do throughout the next week until we see each other again. Take care, moms.